Hi everyone, it's Lonnie, and I am here today with something some of you thought you might like to try, and that is prompts. I thought I would put something together. This isn't fancy, this isn't official, this is just some things that came to me. Actually, it was my husband's idea. He said take the day of the week that it starts with and just put in a word for each day that starts with that letter. So I thought that was a great idea because I had already done that for my monthly theme. I thought April would be good with abide. So that worked out really well. And so I just wrote down a whole bunch of words. And of course, you don't have to follow this if you don't want to, but for those who want to give this a try, I am happy to make this available for you. You can take a screenshot and have it for your records and refer back to it. I don't know at this point if I'm going to be doing a video every day. There's several ways to find verses to match these words if you choose to do that. Most Bibles have a concordance. Okay, many Bibles have a concordance. Or you could even Google the word trust in the Bible, and it would probably pull up some verses for you that you could use. Just things like that. There's also books that have themes, and so there's many ways to get verses. Sometimes one might even come to mind, like for mercy right off bat. The verse, I desire mercy rather than sacrifice. I'm not sure where that is right now, but that would be easy enough to find out. Anyway, so that's just an example. And there you go. That's the prompt for April. And I would say that would work for any month, but just the theme for me, myself, is abide this month. And I thought too, I could combine mercy and abiding. Like pick a verse that has to do with mercy, but it also includes the greater theme of abiding. That might be a little too complicated, but that's what I want to do. Anyway, so like I said, I don't know if I'll be doing this every day. Probably not. That's a lot of videos. And to be honest, if I'm focusing on the verses, I'm less likely to be focusing on the actual journaling part. So then, I'm not a preacher or a teacher, so I don't really, I don't think doing a video every day is going to necessarily be beneficial. So I just thought I would put this out there and let's see what happens. If the Lord wants me to do one every day, I will be here. Anyways, so then I thought, okay, I need something to put my verses in. And usually what happens is I stop myself from starting because, I don't know, something about books is just a little too formal for me. Like, what if, you get a nice new book and then you mess it up and then you have to tear the page out and then it's, I don't know, it does something to me. So I thought I would just make it no pressure whatsoever. And so I started with recycled papers. And I cut them to the portion that I could use. These were 8.5 by 11, but they were computer paper. Well, they're still computer paper. And they're really smooth. Like they're not great quality. They are resistant to, I would say, moisture, because I tried coffee dyeing them and that just didn't work really well. So I'm going to say they probably have a coating on them which makes them not really friendly for junk journaling. However, I thought they would, I want to use them up, so I have so many, and I thought maybe I could use them in this way. And so what I initially did actually was deciding on the size of my pages. Well, it was decided for me in this case because I wanted to use these up, and the rest of the page had other writing on it, which I didn't want. So anyways, grabbing these and then deciding what to do for a cover. And I thought I'd be, journaly. And so I picked this box, and it's not very heavy cardstock. But what I ended up with was, I just cut on all the folds except for, say, these two. And then that would be my spine. And then, well, I'll show you what I came up with here. I actually went to a little more trouble than I was intending to at first, but so here is my journal for my Bible journal, I'll call it, for the month of April. As you can see, I have a bunch of these papers, and I divided them into signatures. And in fact, the spine on that box turned out to be so wide that I'll probably be able to get 2 months worth. And with the string here, what I can do is just replace it with a different twine and add another signature if I so choose, because they're fairly loose in here. Now the reason I did it this way with the string is because I always think, well, what if I want to add a page, or what if I want to take out a page? This will let me do that. I can, like for now at least, I could take out the whole signature and then just remove the pages, or I can add a page, like index cards. I was thinking sometimes I just like to write a verse on an index card, so I wouldn't have to necessarily fold this in the middle, but say I wanted to add a page somewhere. It would be easy enough to just slip it in there. I'll just do it in the middle for now because it's easiest and quickest. So there you go. There's another page added. And I could add even some more because I left that much. The twine was, it doesn't really feel stretchy, but I think it must be. So this is the box, okay? And then because I needed a spine that was a little thicker, I added the box ends and I glued them in. See, there's all these edges. So I glued them into, I think I made them 3 thick so that the string on the twine here wouldn't wreck it right away. So then what I actually did was I took some fabric that I had, and I just wanted to do this because I've had this fabric for a really long time and I always wanted to do something with it, and it just occurred to me to use it because it has a little sheep on it. So I used that idea, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, and that's one of the vertical labels that is still for free on my coffee shop page there, and it's just one of the labels. And then I had these bling things, and I thought the colors matched the background here, so, and I decorated it. That's my title for this month, maybe next month as well. And then I actually sewed what I first did was I folded the fabric onto the back, and then I put another piece of the same fabric, and then I sewed that onto the first page. I used different color string in the bobbin, and so the darker one I took for the inside, and then the lighter one is on the outside. And I'm not a seamstress, but I do love how it looks. And then, yeah, so then I took the string basically and wrapped it around my spine, and then I inserted the signatures. Now, for some of them, I did some decorating before. Like this one, I put a nice edge on that one. That one is kind of, it's an embossed failure, so I thought that would be cool in there. And I used another vertical label as a tuck spot. So I just went ahead and decorated a few pages. I did some doodling. I actually went and put my first verse in. This is kind of what the Lord had put on my heart to do as the first page, because it's fine to use prompts and stuff. I don't have a problem with that at all. It's just the Lord put it on my heart that we can't have relationships with Him on someone else's behalf. We have to make that relationship with Him on our own, between Him. It's a personal thing between Him and us. So I was reading the story of the woman at the well, and how she went and told all the villagers, you know, Jesus just told me everything I did. And they initially believed because of what she said. But then they went and they checked him out for themselves, and they invited Jesus to stay with them for a bit, and he did, and so they got to know him. And so they said, "It's no longer because of what you said that we believe, for we have heard for ourselves and know that this one truly is the Savior of the world." So it's something we have to hear for ourselves, experience for ourselves, and so we can't do that for someone else. Anyways, I thought that was a good verse to start this journey with. And here I put one of the hymn titles or snippets, and I think I put another one somewhere else. Anyways, I have them handy. There it is. "Then sings my soul." And so I have this ready. Now, if this is too complicated, no worries. I have other plans as well. I was thinking you could take the same stack of papers, and what I want to actually do for this one is find a nice cover. And I thought I would take one that I had decoupage, so let me get that. Okay, I'm going to use this one. It's not exactly the right size, depending on where I measure it. But I was thinking I could maybe put some lace somewhere around the edge. But I like this one because it already has the some of the snippets on it, so I thought it would be appropriate. Plus, I always think of the bird that he feeds. He looks after the birds, so why wouldn't he look after us? So I thought this would be a good cover. The inside didn't really work out that well, but that's okay. I can always cover that. So what I'm going to do is try and roughly find the middle. Something like that. And it has kind of a natural crease in it, so I'm gonna use that. Now when I did that, again it cracked at the end, but that's okay. I can just put some washi tape on it or something. Then I'm gonna have to cut it down some. I'm just gonna cut that down to where the words start so that I don't get rid of the words. And then I'm gonna just try to match it. It's a little harder to manipulate than I wanted, but it's okay. Alright, so that's, you know, not perfect, but it extends a little bit, but that's okay. So then I need some string, and instead of the twine, I think this time I'll take some wax thread. And since it's only one signature, I'm not gonna worry too much because I didn't leave the spine. This is the simpler version, right? So I'm just gonna take some twine and wrap it around a few times. In this case, I'm not really measuring. For this thicker one, I did measure because it had to be a certain length. I actually followed a video by Treasure Books, Natasha there, and I will try and link that in the description. So I just have to decide if I want to tie it on the inside or outside. And I'm not sewing this in, and that's on purpose because there we go. I'm not sewing it in because I want to leave this kind of informal. And this way, if you want to add or take out something, all you have to do is just undo the middle here. And the wax string will stay. It won't slide. So there's a book. See, it doesn't have to be all fancy. It doesn't have to be complicated. Another thing is I made this a little while back. I actually printed some verses and then just put the cardstock cover and then stapled it in the middle. So you could do that as well. That would be simple. I just use blank pages. However many you want. You could do one for every month. And then same idea as this one, except I used full-size pages and then just cut them in or folded them in half. This is my project book. What else? You could just oh, I know. You could use those binder clips. You could use a binder. You could just use a notepad that you have. You could just use sheets if you wanted to just use index cards. Why not? I mean, and then what I would do is put like a I would put holes in them and then put those binder, oh, I can't remember what they're called now. They're like the rings that are inside a binder. They're just not attached to a binder. I have an example. You can get them in different sizes. This one's attached to my stencils here. And then it just opens up like so. And then you can take in or out and then put it back together. So yeah, rings. There's that idea. You could also make holes in it and then use a ribbon. You could use raffia to tie it off. I mean, so many options. So I hope that gave you some ideas. And yeah, I don't know. Should we do something today? I already showed you the verse that I picked to start. And now I have 2 books. Cool. One for next month ready to go. How about that? Alright, so that's my first one. I was thinking of adding a pocket. It's a little bumpy because of that, but that's okay. I was thinking of adding a pocket, but I haven't decided on what yet. So I'll do that another time. So then that would bring us to page 2. I've already doodled some. I actually drew this in here. It's kind of cool. That's a sticker. But I doodled that. And what I found, so don't be afraid to use dirty paper. Like the stuff that I'm using that's recycled. It has these markings on it because it went through some kind of a machine that uses ink. Can't see that. Call a printer. Okay, and then sorry, it's a little early, I guess. Yeah, so it went through a printer and the printer left some ink residue, but when I doodled on it, it just added this natural shading, so I didn't have to work on it. It just appeared. So then there's that idea. I doodled the month of April, and yeah, so you come back and you just make it your own and you just decorate it how you want. And so what I think I might do, because my pages are so very thin, I might just keep one side blank because I can see through. I can see the writing through. And so what I might do is, like, I don't know, put a picture or something and then just keep the one side for the actual verse. So let's see. If I was to follow our prompts, Monday is mercy. I know it's not an April Fool's joke. Happy April. I found this. It was actually recommended by Tom Coate on the Watchman River channel, which I like to watch. He does do a video every day, and it's always very encouraging, so I would recommend. Okay, so this has also, this could be used for prompts, because what it does, it lists categories. And so I'm pretty sure mercy is a category in here. I don't offhand see it, however, I see forgiveness. And if that's not merciful, I don't know what would be. So it says page 16. So let's just have a brief look to see what page 16 is. There we go. There's the word mercy. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their lawless deeds I will remember no more. That's very powerful. So again, just an example, not to say that you have to do that verse, but I think it's a good one. And two, if I wanted to have my writing straight, I would just put some lines behind the page that I could see through. And then write out the verse. I tried inking it with my Distress ink. Looks a little dirty, that's about all. I guess it looks distressed. Okay, so Hebrews 8 verse 12. Okay, so I finished writing it out, and then I noticed I made a mistake already. So this book is not mine. Thomas Nelson produced it. I got my copy on Amazon. I actually got one for everybody in my family, so. Okay, so what I did was I put an extra word in here, and I have to either find my whiteout, or what else do I have? Because my whiteout is buried right now, so I can't use that. So I could maybe, if this works. If not, I'll white it out later. I was just thinking I could make some kind of flower there. Yes, I know, it doesn't look very good, but maybe it resembles a flower somewhat. If not, that's okay too. Remember, no pressure on this one, because I started with recycling paper, and the important part is we're getting into the word. So in looking at this, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their lawless deeds I will remember no more. So whether you're doodling or fixing something, keep the word that you just wrote in mind. If you do tangling or doodling anyways, just, go back and read the verse a few more times. I think we'll be surprised at how much the Lord shows us when we do this, because already I'm thinking of that verse where he talks about throwing those things into the sea of forgetfulness. So that could be like an add-on verse if I wanted to go to the effort of finding it and then adding it. You could do like a tip-in if you wanted to. That's where these things would come in handy, because you could just, like I said, insert Okay, I'm not saying I will do that for this one, but I'm just saying that's an idea. And so this is very flexible and, shall we say, forgiving if you want to change your mind. All right, so I'm going to call that a day for now. And let's see what the Lord does with this, and let me know how you like the idea. So, thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.